Hi guys, my name is Adnan Hasbi and I'd like to welcome you to this new series called Having Teh Tarik or Having Some Tea with Me in the evenings. So as you guys could tell, right now it's already in the evening and it's Saturday evening. And one of the reasons why I got really motivated to record this episode is the first thing is one of my loved ones actually got me a ring lamp and I wanted to kind of try it out since I'm nerdy and geeky and all. And the second reason, the real reason, is that this morning I recorded an episode on how to actually monetize and also how to invest in our gifts or the greatest assets. And right now, after getting, I guess, more and more motivated and more ideas, I just wanted to just record an episode straight away. I just couldn't, I was so excited. I wanted to just get on the camera and talk to you guys on some of the things which I saw, some of the ideas which I have. So to recap what I talked about this morning, I said that right now there are a lot of, if you go on the internet or if you go on YouTube, there is a lot of ads showing people how to invest in stocks, invest in properties, invest in all sorts of assets. And also I've seen people talking about how to write books and monetize on that. And this actually gave me this particular idea, or is like a metaphor of sometimes we travel the whole world to find that treasure, only to discover that treasure is behind our backyard. And that treasure behind our backyard is our gifts. And that was what I talked a little bit about, our gifts and also monetizing on our gifts. And I gave you guys a couple of examples. One of them was me as an analyst. Another one was my friend. He was really good in cooking, and lo and behold, after cooking for a couple of years, he opened a restaurant over KLCC, Bandar Utama, and around Kuala Lumpur. And today he even has a small grocery shop. So that was what I talked about this morning. And yeah, and just to recap, I talked a little bit about how I kind of lost my passion after working in a corporate setting, and there was a lot of politics. And as we get more and more, I guess, senior in our organization, there are people which they would rather play politics and rather be apple polishing as opposed to creating real value. And that was when I got a little bit jaded with the whole with working in the corporate life. And knowing this, what I did was I started on this great adventure, which I'm going to share with you guys, which is building assets. And how I actually even started building assets was, like I told you guys this morning, I started this exercise by writing on a piece of paper what I really love to do, right, as a kid and right now. So amongst the list which I actually, amongst the things which I wrote on my paper was that I love computers. I was a gamer. I love to play games. I used to skip even my meals just to play video games and whatnot. So that was my passion. And the other thing which I wrote also was what I was good at. And as many of you guys know, I have worked as an analyst. I was relatively good in looking for trends and also looking for searching for new ideas and whatnot. So leveraging on both on my passion and on my strength, what business did I start? Right, was the app development business. And why I started this app development business was that I did some market research. So I guess number one, if you guys want to start your own business, please do some market research. And when I did some market research, I realized that at that point in time, there was this app gold rush, right? Where even kids, like around 13 or 14 years old, they would develop apps which give you farting noises. And these guys will make about 20, 30 or 40,000 US dollars just by making a farting app. Aside from that, I also saw this thing which really blew my mind. which was Flappy Bird. The developer for Flappy Bird, legend has it, is that after he developed that app, he actually made about 20,000 US dollars every day. Okay, and to put things in perspective, if we were to convert it into Malaysian ringgit in today's term, so it's 20 times by 4, which is 80,000 ringgit per day. And I knew that I wanted to be in that app development gold rush, right? So that's the first thing. I used my analysis to actually look at the market. I did some market research. But when I decided to develop apps, the next question I had to ask myself was, what was the content for the app? Again, I leveraged on my strength and also my love of researching. And that was when I looked around. I looked at malls, I looked at Google Trends, I looked at Google Search, and I realized that there was this particular product trending at this point in time, which was hijab. It's I guess a Muslimah fashion wear. And at that point in time, I realized that there was so much of YouTube content, and there was also so many blogs showing people how to actually tie the hijab. But having said that, when doing my market research, I realized in terms of apps, there was only 1 or 2 apps. And that was when I knew that I needed to create an app on this hijab fashion wear. But having said that, as many of you guys know, if you guys have been following me, I'm more of an analyst, and I had 0 experience in coding. So the next question is, let me ask you guys, what would you do if you had 0 experience doing anything? And the answer was, I actually went on YouTube. To tell you guys the truth, right now, this is the information age. And to say that we don't know how to do a particular task, I think, especially in this information age, I don't think it's much of an excuse. And anything that we want to find, we can always Google it, we can always YouTube it, and finally, we can actually even go to a book. We can also go old school if we don't want to actually go through the internet, and we can actually go to the National Library, which I've been doing also. I'm a nerd that way. So anyway, back to the story. So when I started watching YouTube, I actually created my app, I think after 2 or 3 weeks. And after the app came out, guess what happened, guys? All of a sudden, as I mentioned to you, there was only 1 or 2 apps in the market. When I created the app, it felt like Hari Raya, it felt like Chinese New Year, and also my birthday all combined into one. Whereby when I released the app, I looked at the number of people downloading the app just increasing. And how I actually made money was I actually gave it freemium, whereby it's a free app. But I don't know whether you guys notice every time when you go into a free app, you can actually see little advertising banners on the bottom or on the top. And that's how I made my money. Every time when someone actually went through my app, there will be an advertising banner on the bottom and also on the top. And for every 100 or maybe 1,000 people, I would get some form of revenue. And since I was one of the few apps which actually showed people how to tie the hijab, wow, I actually made some income from that particular app. Aside from that, the app was so successful, I even talked to a couple of venture capitalists, and this venture capitalist was in fact really excited. And and at that point in time, there were a couple of venture capitalists that flew down from Singapore just to talk to me about this particular app. And to tell you guys the truth, it only took me 1 or 2 weeks of programming to get that app up and running, and finally to even talk to venture capitalists to actually get them to invest in that particular app. So the whole moral of the story, I guess, to summarize everything, is that this morning I talked a little bit about our gift and how we should invest in our gifts, right? After you have written down all of the gifts and all of the hobbies that you like right now as a kid, and also what things you like to read, the next thing is to take action. I know it's really uncomfortable taking the first few steps, especially when we don't know what to do and how to do. Sometimes we identify, like me, I used to identify myself as an analyst. And for me to do coding and programming, it was just so foreign and it was so uncomfortable. And every inch and every inch of my body, I actually resisted from working forward. I actually stopped myself from that progress. But but if we expand that comfort zone, right, and if we focus on what we love to do, and if we just take a small action every day, a small action, a small action, a small action, we will finally reach that goal. And in fact, you can see with this, even this YouTube channel, in this journey we are on together, you can see that number one, I was really horrible when it came to I guess live session, and most of the live session it was a spur of the moment. But right now, I hope I'm a bit more comfortable in my live sessions. In fact, right now, my live session, I even have props where I actually use, and I call this live session the data session. So even this, I'm not the best. I have to admit to you guys, I'm not the best. But with enough practice, enough taking small actions, we will eventually get to our goals. And for you today, after writing down what you love to do, what you're good at, what you love to read, the next step is maybe Google ways on how to monetize. The next step is just to take the small little one step towards your goal. And and never know what will happen. Okay, but what I would like to emphasize over here, while going on this journey, it was scary, it was exciting, I never felt so alive. But of course, on the downside, I had some friends within the industry, they thought I kind of lost my marbles going into the startup space, even though I was so senior within the investment industry. But at the end of the day, it's only up to us. We know what makes us happy. And if we follow our hearts and we are brave enough to take action, we will open ourselves up to this wonderful journey and we can explore wonderful things. All right, guys. With that, I would like to thank you, live watcher over there, to actually kind of come on to actually listen to me. I'd like to thank you so very much. And I'm so wonderfully grateful.